everybody, it's Natasha Red here. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a foundation first impressions, and it is on the Makeup Revolution Conceal&Define Full Coverage Foundation. I do believe this is matte, but I'm not sure. I think this is kind of like a dupe for the Shape Tape Shit Tit foundation that came out a couple years ago that got them canceled. It has the applicator kind of like the concealers, and did y'all hear that sound? I'm shook. This is in the shade F15. I hope this is the right shade. I believe I got this in person. Let's see what the website says F15 is shade wise. Damn. Okay, so F15 is a shade for dark skin tones with red undertones, which I have red/neutral. This foundation comes in 50 shades, and it says Makeup Revolution's Conceal&Define Full Coverage Foundation offers lightweight yet buildable coverage at 50 skin true shades. This versatile foundation is designed to suit every skin type and tone, with an oil-free yet creamy, comfortable formula that dries down to a long-lasting demi-matte finish. It won't settle into fine lines or cling to dry patches. Bold claims. Housed in a Lux glass bottle with a jumbo doe foot applicator for greater control and less waste, this foundation offers highly pigmented coverage that can be layered and diffused to suit your look. Swipe on and blend out to ramp up the coverage for a real skin finish that diffuses blemishes and uneven skin tone, or let your complexion's natural character shine through with a small amount and a damp beauty sponge for a veil-like coverage. Follow your favorite shades with their concealer, which we ain't gonna do because I don't have that concealer anymore. Their concealer is definitely good, so I definitely wanted to try this out. It would have been ideal if I had the concealer, but hell, we're in the middle of a pandemic. I can't go get it. So with that being said, I'm going to do, as I always do, half of my face with the brush, half with the sponge, and we're going to use the Milk Hydro Grip Primer because this is the best primer I've come across recently, and she just does things that she shows up to work. She's an essential worker even during this pandemic, and we're gonna put her to the test. So I have the primer just so y'all can see me priming my face with it. Yes. So I feel like this is definitely gonna help this to be long lasting. So it does feel nice and luxe because it is in this glass bottle. And I do think I'm gonna like the doe foot applicator because, like they said, it'll allow for less waste. In this day and age, you need to have some type of applicator or a pump if you're selling me a foundation. I'm not trying to pour half the bottle on the back of my hand. Thank you so much. So let's hope that this ain't too red, because if it is, I played myself. Okay, that looks pretty spot on actually, so that's great. I like that it's far less waste so far. It seems like it's gonna be a medium to buildable coverage. So because I have this doe foot applicator and I have this concealer on the top of my brows, I'm just gonna kind of see if I wanted to go over the top of my brows, how easy that would be with this applicator. And it seems easy enough, okay. Okay, so that's good to know. So if you carve your brows out and you don't want them looking like somebody highlighted them with something 7 shades lighter than your skin tone, that'll work great. So we're gonna use the Fenty Beauty sponge on this side and this Kabuki brush from Walmart on this side. Let me go ahead and blend out the other side too. So this is how it looks with one layer on each side. And I will say, I'm looking in my mirror, and in person, I think on camera they look about the same, but in person, this side definitely looks like it's just skin. Like they both look pretty natural, but this side, like the way I can tell is when my beauty mark shows through a foundation, that's a light coverage. So let me turn down my studio light real quick, just so y'all can see. Hopefully you can see it better. But my beauty mark is right here and it's showing through the foundation. I think that they were accurate when they said that it's just like a veil-like finish. Of course, using a brush, it's gonna be a fuller coverage. So just to see if it is buildable like they claim, we're going to add another layer on both sides. And this time I'm gonna go into the side with my brush first and then do the sponge side. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so it's a much fuller coverage. Let's see if we get more coverage from the sponge side. Okay, so we definitely get way more coverage just with one additional layer, so that's really nice. My beauty mark is no longer showing through this side, so that lets me know it added a substantial amount of coverage. Also, just a few of the imperfections that I was seeing on my skin on the first layer are no longer showing. So you can really amp up the coverage very quickly with just one additional layer. Looks very flawless and does not look cakey. It didn't take much product, so I'm very pleased with this application and so far the formula. But we have to see how it's gonna act throughout the day. So I am gonna be putting on a little concealer underneath my eyes, and if you're thinking, my gosh, Natasha, that eye look though, gorgeous, stunning, Academy Award winning, I have the video for you. Click the link in the eye. It'll take you directly to this look. Okay, so we're gonna be using the Juvia's Place Magic Concealer. Because we're going for a natural semi-concealer, we're just gonna use the same sponge to blend it out. So for powder to set, I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty powder in the shade Hazelnut. And I'm actually not going to set my foundation with powder because I just wanna see how it's gonna act, you know? I'm not doing anything today. Typically when I do these videos, I have at least something to keep y'all entertained, like I do it kind of vlog style. But as you guys know, we are in the middle of a pandemic and I am under quarantine. I don't have anything entertaining to show you guys. I'm probably just going to come back a couple hours from now and just let you guys know my final thoughts, first impression wise, you know what I mean? So I do apologize if you guys don't like that style because that's not my typical. So that powder, of course, definitely mattified my face a bit, so I did not set anything with spray yet, but it definitely even kind of still mattified the rest of my face a little bit more, even though I didn't put any additional like powder in like these areas of my face, but that's okay. So I'm going to add a little bronzer, highlight lips, and then I will come back when I have finished the rest of my face. Alrighty guys, so this is my finished face. So I used the Kat Von D or KVD Beauty at this point Lock It Spray. I used the NYX Dewy Finish to kind of revitalize my skin after putting all that powder on it. So this is my look, and let's take a close-up look at the skin. But look how flawless my skin looks. Not to be conceited, but you know, look how nice it looks. Everything looks really beautiful, seamless, flawless. Let's revisit the claims real quick of this foundation. This foundation claims, because we're gonna put these claims to the test, honey. It claims to be creamy and comfortable. I would say it's comfortable. It claims to be less waste. I do think it's less waste. It claims to be long lasting. It claims that it won't cling into fine lines or dry patches. It claims to be demi-matte, which I do think that it was, so basically satin. If you've watched any of my foundation videos in the past, you know that I tend to have a real issue with my smile lines. So we're gonna see if it, you know, settles into those lines. So right now it is 2:09 p.m. So we're gonna do at least one check-in before our final check-in. So you're gonna get at least 2 more check-ins from me. So I, of course, as always, I'm not doing any type of additional touch-ups to my face. The only thing I might touch up is my lips, but nothing on my face. So we're gonna see how this foundation lasts. So stay tuned. Alrighty, y'all. So it is almost 6:30 actually. I meant to come in at 6, but had some things to do. So let's take a quick little look-sees at my face, shall we? Again, I have not done any touch-ups. You can tell by my lip gloss is kind of starting to fade a little bit. My eyeshadow is starting to come down a little bit. Yeah, my face still looks pretty darn good. This is almost 4.5 hours. Peeking. Okay, so my smile line is peaking a little teeny tiny bit on both sides, but my face still looks pretty darn good. It might look more oily than it actually is because of my ring light, but it's not even like, it's not even oily. It might transfer just a tinge. I will say it does look more satiny, because like earlier it was more mattified. Now it looks more of like a satin finish, which if y'all know me, I love a satin and I love a dewy finish, period. So this to me looks fantastic. None of my makeup has moved or any of that good stuff or bad stuff, because that would be bad. So I will be back in about 5 hours to give my final thoughts. Alright guys, so I am back. I'm actually back an hour earlier because I have a really bad headache and I need to take this makeup off. I don't know what's going on, but I have a bad headache. So instead of doing this for 11 hours, because we finished our makeup around 2 o'clock, we did a check-in at 6 o'clock. It is now 10:15, little maybe 10:20-ish. So we've made it to 10 and a half-ish, give or take some change hours. So I think that that's a good enough amount of time for us to tell whether or not this product would be long lasting. I'm bringing y'all in real close so we can see. I did, like I said, the only thing I touched up was my lips, but here is my face after 10 and a half hours. I'm really impressed actually. So again, because of my studio light, it might look more greasy or whatever, but I do have quite, I would say a decent amount of oil on my nose, but my smile lines in comparison to some other foundations that I wear are not bad at all. I'm gonna take this paper towel and kind of just blot my nose area to see if it like transfers really bad, and barely anything, so that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna kind of blot all over just to see.